I grew up in Iowa, and going to one church for the first 19 years of my life. And I was just talking to my sister about this. You know, she had a little different perspective than I did, but for what I could see, she said she could see that everybody had problems. But you know, I grew up going to this church, and no one ever gave any inkling that they struggled with anything. You guys know what I mean? Like, you see people and they're like, hey, yeah, happy Sabbath. Everything's great, always. And you don't hear anybody ever struggle with anything. And that was a hard thing for me. Not because I want everybody to have problems, but because I began to struggle with addictions. And nobody else seemed to have any problems. And so that made me think that I was uniquely broken and unsavable. That is sad, isn't it? Like, what is it that makes us think that churches need to be places where no one has problems? Because last I checked, Jesus, the whole point of the gospel is to save sinners from sin, which means we're a bunch of sinners, right? We need Jesus desperately. So this battle, I realized it probably when I gave my life to the Lord at 19, and I think it was a couple of years after that, I was like, man, we don't really talk much about the struggle and the journey and just the addictions and stuff. It was just like silent. And maybe some of you grew up in different types of environments, but I did not. You know, the Midwest, and nobody struggled. So after I gave my life to the Lord, I decided I wanted to be real. Like Josie and I, we decided like we don't want to just speak with being ambiguous about things, but just tell the truth. Like, what inspired the songs? What is the struggles and stuff about? Because we recognize that we're not alone. Nobody's sin is all that unique. We need the Lord, and we need His freedom. This song I'm going to share with you first off is about that struggle of letting down the mask, letting yourself be seen as a broken sinner that needs Jesus, and in that battle with that. Have you ever been so selfish that you let your baby cry while you finished up a video game? Well, I haven't either. That's pretty bad. But have you ever stretched the truth, telling stories to your friends so they'd be a little bit more amazed? Well, I haven't either. I'd never do that. But there are some people out there who aren't completely sincere. What they show in the daylight is not exactly what's inside. It's a form of protection from being rejected. And you and I can be so glad that we are not like that. Well, have you ever made a promise to yourself 1,000 times just to break it over and over again? Well, I haven't either. Only people with problems do that kind of thing. But have you been so full of doubt that you just can't pray to God because you wonder if He even exists? Well, I haven't either. But there are some people out there who aren't completely sincere. What they show in the daylight is not exactly what's inside. It's a form of protection from being rejected. You and I can be so glad that we are not like that. But who am I kidding? Who am I kidding? I am just like that. No, I'm only kidding. Well, have you ever felt compelled to get a weight off of your chest, but can't follow through because you are ashamed? Well, I've heard that you can tell the ones who truly open up because their lives are marked with freedom and with peace. And I don't have either. No, I haven't either. Not totally sure if you should say amen to that, huh? Well, I know some of you, how many of you actually been to one of our concerts before? Because I know there's a core of you that, okay, so just a handful. So we'll go ahead and introduce a couple instruments to you. This one that Josie has here, how many of you have seen one of these before that haven't been to one of our concerts? It's called a shruti box. A shruti box comes from the land of India, and I'm going to be playing this one here. This is an Irish low whistle. If you're not familiar with the name or looking at it, when you hear it, be like, Titanic. But this is commonly used in Irish and Scottish kind of things. So we're going to take an Indian shruti box, an Irish low whistle, and do a Scottish version of an old hymn. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I am found. Was blind, but now I see. Sing with us. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. Thank you for singing. Well, we're thankful that Josie is here. She might have a cough or two. I guess my sister heard when I said that when I was talking to you guys in the meetings that she was barking like crazy. Like I meant like a cough, like barking, not barfing. And my sister thought it sounded like I said she was barfing like crazy. Anyway, she does not have the flu, and she's not barfing like crazy. It's just...
Oh, my. Oh, when I heard that, I was like, oh, Matt.
Not the best with words.
Yeah, so just I appreciate your prayers and your forgiveness for my moments that might sound a bit froggy or like a Canadian goose. But I am really glad to be here with you guys, too. It's a privilege to be here and to sing and to praise the Lord and to just spend time in worship with Him during this hour.
I think I should check it.
Oh, yes. Okay. So he just changed the strings on this recently, and it needs help. So he'll tune while I talk. So this song that we're going to share, probably some of you know it. It's called All the Time in the World, and it's been a really meaningful song to me because I have really struggled with anxiety as an adult. I don't remember being so anxious as a kid, but boy, life can be pretty frazzling at times, and I have really dealt poorly with it at different times, different seasons, and yeah. Do you guys ever feel out of time? Like a lot? Do you like waiting for things to happen? No. Oh, some of you do? Oh, man, I need to take lessons or something. Yeah, I do not cope well when I feel like I'm out of time. And I don't like waiting. I feel impatient often. And so, anyway, this song has meant a lot to me because God just spoke one day to my heart in the midst of frantically trying to accomplish things because I had run out of time. He just spoke the words, Josie, I have all the time in the world. What is your problem? And I realized in that moment that I needed to invite God into my plans, into my agendas, and give him access to the things that I want done, and surrender more of my life to him and to have the peace that he has to offer. So I've been in the process of learning that over the last decade. And I feel like more so in this last year, the Lord has just put me on a crash course of learning to wait on him, learning to surrender my timing, my agendas, my plans to him. And I like to be in control. And so this has really tested me. But I am discovering that there is peace in saying, Jesus, I'm putting my hand in yours. I want to be where you are. And if you are right here in this moment, not barging ahead, then I want to be where you are. And so he's been giving peace to my heart more often. And because of that, giving peace to my family.
Amen.
Because I'm not a very nice person when I'm stressed. I'm grumpy, aren't I? I'm very grumpy.
Oh, very.
Very. There, you heard it. So anyway, if you're a bit like me, a little bit type A, like to be in charge, like to have things work out the way you planned them, I just hope this song gets stuck in your head and reminds you to relax, to surrender, to invite God into your day-to-day, and to have a little more peace. I see you stress and fret. Have you got an ulcer yet? Worries eating you inside out. Deadlines are neat and not a moment left. Always in a hurry. What's your worry? Why do you hurry? I've got all the time in the world. So why don't you let go of what you can't control? Let me take it for you. Love, what's your worry? Why don't you hurry? I've got all the time in the world. Quick prayer on the run, always so much to be done. It's a constant crazy frenzy. But if time's of the essence and you need my presence, so may I ask you a question? What's your worry? Why do you hurry? I've big hurry. I've got all the time in the world. You've got minutes, well, I've got days. You've got seconds, well, I've got ways. You're out of options, well, I still got thousands. So tell me, what's your problem? Oh, what's your worry? Why the big hurry? I've got all the time in the world. So why don't you let go of what you can't control? Let me take it for you. Lord, what's your worry? Why the big hurry? I've got all the time in the world.
By the time I was a teenager, I was introduced to pornography, and that led into a lot of other stuff. And I remember hitting 19 years old, just feeling the heaviness and the weight of the shame and the guilt. Like nobody knew what was going on in my life. It was secret. But the heaviness and the weight, the shame, it was so heavy. And I remember just thinking, like, I don't see the purpose in life, and I don't see the purpose in what I'm doing. And I tried to quit so many times, but as I'm sure many of you have experienced, it doesn't matter how many times you make promises that you're not going to do something, you can show back up there again. And without Jesus, it's just a constant cycle over and over again. And that's where it was for me. And I remember this thought going through my head, and as I mentioned earlier, I felt really distant from God. I still went to church. I still did my part. It was the social club that I could go to, I was a homeschool kid, and so this was the only place where I could see other humans. I love my sister. She's over here. But, you want more connections than just your family, and so that was one of the reasons I went to church. But in my mind, I didn't really put God on the map. But at 19, I remember thinking, what if God is real? And what if he can help me? And so I remember selling everything that I had, except for a car that ended up breaking down. And I went to a Bible college. I went there specifically to see, is God real? And can he help me? And instead of finding a God that I kind of expected to find, one that would just condemn me for my failures, because I knew better. I was raised in the church. I encountered a God that loves broken sinners and had a plan to redeem and save. I saw a God that, yes, he gave me forgiveness, but he gave me that other thing that I was so craving, and that was freedom. Freedom from the thing that I had been trying forever to be free from. That is the God that I encountered. And what a beautiful experience it was. After leaving there, I have been in ministry and traveling all over the place since, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm thankful that God has given purpose, that he's given freedom. So maybe, I don't know about your experiences like where you're at, but maybe you got these ghosts in the closet, these things that you hope no one ever finds out about, and you feel that shame. Maybe you've doubted whether God can love you because of the junk that you've been into. I want to assure you that he sees everything, and it does not affect his love for you. There's nothing you can do to change his love. And I hope you can find the freedom that he's offering you, because he's offering it with his arms wide open. He says, come unto me, all you that labor are heavy laden, and I'll give you rest. He wasn't talking about a nap, though sometimes we yawn and get tired, right? But we desperately need rest for our souls. We carry burdens that we were never created to carry. Mankind was never created to carry sin and guilt and shame. So if your life isn't all that you wish that it was, I invite you to respond in your heart to the Lord, just to come.
We wanted our wings, and we wanted to be worthy of you, but weather rained on our dreams, and we can't take back what is done, what is past. So fellas, lay down your fears, 'cause we can't take back what is done, what is past. So let us start from here, 'cause we never wanted to be lusty or lewd, nor tethered to prudish strings, and we never wanted to be jealously tuned, nor withered into ugly things. But we can't take back what is done, what is past. So fellas, lay down your spears, 'cause we can't take back what is done, what is past. So let us start from and if all that you are is not all you desire, then come. Come, come alone, come with fear, come with love, come however you are, just come, come alone, come with friends, come with foes, come however you are, just come, come alone, come so carefully closed, come however you are, just come. Come along, come with sorrows and songs, come come along. Come, let yourself be wrong. Come, however you are, just come.
So this song that I'm going to share was written a few years ago, and it was in a time where I was just really feeling frustrated and angry because someone I love dearly has been struggling with addiction, and I was so frustrated and hurt and just overwhelmed with the situation. I tried to help her and just would see like a little pinprick of hope and then just back into the same thing over and over again. It just really wounded my heart because I wanted to see her free. And I was just really hurt. And one day I was just thinking about the whole situation. I was feeling very angry and very bitter in my heart and just trying to figure out what to do. And I'd come to the place where I was just like really viewing her through this lens, like devaluing her because of this addiction problem. And as I'm thinking about this and I'm contemplating the whole thing, just really in the dumps about it, Eliza just rushed into the room and she started chatting to me about something that was going on, and she was all perky and just full of sweet smiles and wanting to connect with me. And I was so overwhelmed as I stooped down and was just looking into her precious little face. I was just so overwhelmed with love for her. And in that moment, God came close to my heart and he spoke to me this thought: as much as you love your little girl, and nothing will ever change that love, that is how I view this other person that you're struggling with. And it just really kind of broadsided me, just kind of caught me off guard, because I realized, I was devaluing this person and my love was being affected. But God doesn't look at us the same way. God looks at us with a parental heart. And literally, I love our little girl with all my heart. And there's nothing that she will ever do that will make me love her less. She could break my heart and I will still love her. And that's how God looks at you and me. He doesn't look at us with a long list of all of our failures. He looks at us and says, I will always love you. You may deface my image in yourself, but I will always love you and I will always take you back. And that is a beautiful, beautiful thing that I think we need to grasp more deeply. And God, more than just seeing us where we are currently in the mess that we are, he sees us as we will become when we let him love us. Because it's really in letting God love us and coming into communion with him that the broken and dysfunctional areas that we have turned to try to fill a broken void in us, that's where they come in contact with the one who can truly fill the void in us. That's where healing takes place. So this song is written from that perspective, as if God was speaking to you and me. When I look at you, I see my son, I see my daughter. I see someone that I will always love. When I look at you, it's with the heart of a father. When I look at you, no matter how far your feet may wander, or to what depths your soul may go. You have forever a place at my table, and my love's the way back home. 'Cause when I look at you, I see my son, I see my daughter. I see someone that I will always love. When I look at you, it's with the heart of a father. When I look at you, oh, I see you now with all of your problems, but I see beyond to where you will become. And my heart overflows at the thought of your freedom. When you know my love. 'Cause when I look at you, I see my son, I see my daughter. I see someone that I will always love. When I look at you, it's with the heart of a father. When I look at you. So throw yourself into this love that I've offered over and over and over again. Oh, and let yourself sink in my infinite goodness until your hurts all mend. 'Cause when I look at you, I see my son, I see my daughter. I see someone that I will always love. When I look at you, it's with the heart of a father. When I look at you. When I look at you.
Small things. There's a lot of things we deem and consider to be small in life, yet often they weigh in to be quite a bit. I remember when I realized that that extra slice of toast after a meal with peanut butter and raspberry jam was like 400 and some calories. I realized that an accumulation of small things create big things. But seriously, like the effects of small things, and I specifically was thinking about devotional time, spending time with the Lord. It seems to be easy to let go of that time and let it slip. But that little bit of time, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever time that you can set aside for the Lord, that little bit of time, something begins to grow. It's kind of like the little mustard seed that gets planted and it becomes this great thing, like that illustration in the Bible. That's what that reminds me of, that we spend time with the Lord and all of a sudden big things start to move in our hearts, in our minds. And that accumulation of time starts to develop a relationship of which you recognize that you can't live without. I've struggled with being an on and off kind of guy with devotions, life gets busy or whatever, and then I see this suffering and the effects of it, whether that be in a relationship or just my tolerance of humans and being frustrated with people. And then doubts and then worries and concerns and all these things start to fill up the life. But in the same way, the opposite happens. When you take time and you carve it out to spend time with the Lord, that little bit of time begins to build a heart that is connected to His. You are now connected to the vine, and the power that you wanted for freedom is there. It's the beauty of small things practiced in the life.
tell you something's missing and try to sell you more. But going bigger, faster is not always what you need. And knowing small things matter is really no small thing. Sometimes my economy is upside down, and I lose track of the things I care about. When I start chasing power, I wind up getting caught. I could climb the ladder, get further from my dreams. Knowing small things matter is really no small thing. So take a walk with me on Monday morning through the same old small streets of our neighborhood. Oh, it's no marathon that ends in glory, but it's good. It's good. Oh. So pay close attention to the ones who've been living with a long obedience in the same direction. They'll tell you without speaking of the beauty in this world. If beauty's what you're after, just look close to see that knowing small things matter changes everything. If beauty's what you're after, just look close to see that knowing small things matter is really no small thing.
So a handful of years ago, Josie and I were not doing very well. Our relationship was in the dumps and didn't really know what to do about it. And at the same time, we're watching some close friends, their relationships disintegrate and end in divorce. And first off, to say this, our story is not a judgment on anybody else's journey. And if you've lost in relationship with separation or divorce, this is not a judgment. It takes two people to want it to work and God in the middle to pull it together. And for us, we were just in a mess. And I could tell she really didn't like me. And
It's true. I didn't.
she didn't like me. And it's easy when your spouse doesn't like you to let your mind or your heart wander. And that was the option that was before me. But then I remembered this verse. God put it in my mind. It says, "Men, we are to love our wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself for it." Does anybody else find that passage challenging? Like, how can I love like Jesus? The people that he was loving, his church, were the people that put him to death. My wife's not doing that to me. I find it hard to love her when she's being prickly or being grouchy. But with every command that is given, something like, men, you are to this and that, comes with the promise that, men, with Jesus, you will be this. You can love your wife like Christ loved his church in my power. You can tie yourself to the promise that you made. And if you're not married, you can make habits that will make you a faithful man in Jesus' power as well. Not letting your mind and eyes wander to places where you know it doesn't belong. So this song I'm going to share with you is about that commitment, that tying yourself to that promise in Jesus' power.
I'm holding on to hope that one day this could be made right. 'Cause I've been shipwrecked and left for dead, and I've seen the darkest sides. Everyone I've loved seems like a stranger in the night. But oh, my heart still burns, tells me to return and search the fading light. I'm sailing home to you. I won't be long. By the light of the moon, I will press on until I find my love. Trouble has beset my ways, and wicked winds have blown. The sirens call my name, they say they'll ease my pain and break me on the stones. But true love is the burden that will carry me back home, and carry me with the memories of the beauty I have known. I'm sailing home to you. I won't be long. By the light of the moon, I will press on. So tie me to the mast of this ocean and point me home before I lose the one I love, before my chance is gone. I wanna hold her in my arms.
Hey, Liza, would you grab me my water, sweetie? It's beside the piano. Thanks, little. This next one was a love song I had started for Matt quite a few years ago, and then life had gotten really busy, and I hadn't had time to finish it. And we were getting ready to go out on another tour. Thanks, sweetheart. And I remember looking through some unfinished lyrics and thinking, what do I want to get completed for this upcoming tour? And I came across these lyrics for the unfinished love song. And I thought, well, I'm not finishing that one. He doesn't deserve a love song. We were in a very different spot, like Matt said, and we were in a bind. But hey, we didn't have time to have problems. We had life booked. We had life booked for a lot of years at that point in time. We were running very hard in ministry and running ourselves very hard. And hadn't had time just to really deal with the problems and the issues that had come up. We just kept stuffing it, not really ever taking time to have the conversations that needed to happen. So anyway, I almost threw the song away, stuffed it back in the folder finally, decided to, and then we headed off. And that was right at the beginning of 2020. We headed off on the trip. We had 6 months planned here in the States and overseas. And I remember getting up night after night, singing songs and looking like the model couple. And in my heart, I was just thinking, this guy is a jerk.
I was.
Well, I was too. We were both adding to the dysfunction. And I remember thinking, what a hypocrite, here we are saying this, that, and the other thing, and yet we're not functioning properly. And I came to the place where I was literally, my heart withered up to the place where I just felt like I had nothing left for him anymore. Nothing. And then the pandemic arrived on the scene, and everything came to a screeching halt, as you well know. And I don't know what your experience was with it, but for our family, it was exactly what we needed. Now, it did not feel like what we needed. Those were my plans. You remember talking about me having anxiety? Those were my plans. I had booked that tour. I was slave driving us. I think on that year he turned 40. It was on that tour, and we had like 5 concerts in 48 hours. So, yeah, for his birthday. Happy birthday, Matt. Yeah, I had booked us at extreme levels, and it was just very, very dysfunctional. But it was at that point in time we all of a sudden had the thing that we never had. We had a lot of time on our hands because all of our concerts were canceled. And so we started fighting a lot more. But it was then that we decided either we're getting help or we're not making it. So we actually came here. And we sat, it was Pastor Kelly's office, sat in there, and we opened up our hearts, and we started going through years of hurt and dysfunction and pain. And I remember thinking during the first counseling session that there's going to be nothing left of us by the time we get done with this. There's going to be nothing left. But the beautiful thing is that when we open up our hearts and we invite God into our brokenness, we start being honest. God says that there's nothing impossible with him.
That's right.
And he began the beautiful, what felt like impossible work of bringing restoration through those counseling sessions. And it was painful and it was hard, but I remember the second session, they were very, very long sessions. I remember the second session actually starting to hear what Matt was saying to me. Not how I'd been processing it through hurt and disappointment and frustration and anger, but what he was actually saying. And I realized he still loved me. He didn't always express it very well, but he still loved me. And we started extending grace and mercy and forgiveness to one another. And God is so good to have brought about healing in he began the work of healing in our relationship at that time. We went home. It was still in the middle of 2020. We lived in Oregon at that time. And I remember pulling out this love song and telling Matt, I would actually like to finish it now because I actually like you. So we finished it together. And I just want to share it with you this afternoon and just encourage you. There are highs and lows in relationships. And marriage specifically is under attack. But God is for us.
That's right.
He is. And there's nothing that he cannot do if there are 2 people willing to let him do what needs to be done in our hearts. So just hold in there if you're in one of those low spots. God has good things in store. And Matt and I are not a perfect couple. We still have arguments, but we fight a lot better now. We do. We can come to resolution at the end of an argument instead of just more resentment. Because we have tools to communicate, we have respect for each other, we have love for each other that we can build on. And then we have Jesus in the middle, who's advocating for us, who's working on our behalf, and it's a good thing. So here's the song. You walk some dark, dark roads, carried some heavy loads, known sorrow and pain. Time for the clouds to go, time for your heart to know. Colors other than gray, it's time to leave the rain.
Is that a tune?
No, I think it's okay, I just forgot my chord.
Okay.
I'll be your blue sky, I'll be your sunshine. Warmth upon your back that makes you wanna sing and dance. And I'll be the songbird in the tree, sing until your heart feels light and free. Singing happy songs, what you mean to me. Oh, oh, singing happy songs, what you mean to me. I know that when you cannot see, it's hard to believe. The sun's just above the clouds, but it's time for your heart to fly up into the light. Time to say goodbye, leave this dark place behind. And I'll be your blue sky, I'll be your sunshine. Warmth upon your back makes you wanna sing and dance. And I'll be the songbird in the tree, sing until your heart feels light and free. Singing happy songs, what you mean to me. Oh, oh, singing happy songs, what you mean to me. Oh, it's time to laugh again, let the joy back in. It's gonna be alright, so hold on tight, we're headed for the light. And I'll be your blue sky, I'll be your sunshine. Warmth upon your back makes you wanna sing and dance. And I'll be the songbird in the tree, sing until your heart feels light and free. Singing happy songs, what you mean to me. Oh, oh, singing happy songs, what you mean to me. Oh, oh, singing happy songs, what you mean to me.
I'm thankful you wrote that song. Thankful you didn't throw it away. I think the Lord knew he needed healing for many reasons. But for what was to come, we've had a tough handful of years. That was had some low spots in it. There's been a lot of loss of life of family members. Josie lost 2 grandparents and 2 aunts in 1 year. Just a huge amount of loss and sorrow and the effect that has on the family that's remaining. And then in the midst of that, we'd been praying and desiring to have another kid. We love our Eliza girl, and we'd love to have another. And we finally conceived. We were very excited. And then 2 months in, we lost that baby. And the hard thing that we face when we come to grief and loss is that we can't see past now. We can't see past the here and now, the present, the experience of loss. Specifically, people die, you don't see them again. We feel that. We feel that separation, that distance. But God sees something much beyond what we do. How many of you have been to the Grand Canyon? There's a number of you. And of those that have been to the Grand Canyon, how many of you took a picture of it? How are your pictures? You know your pictures were terrible. You cannot capture the Grand Canyon. I don't care what kind of lens you have, you can't capture it. And in the same way that our little mediocre cameras and phone cameras and stuff cannot capture the Grand Canyon, we cannot see what God sees. We see death, we see separation, he sees resurrection. We see pain, we see loss, we see grief, he sees tears being wiped away, and eternal bliss designed for you. So if your life, you don't like how it's going, it's simply because your story isn't over yet. With Jesus, it never ends. It simply is getting better.
There are endless tears and suffering we can't explain. There are dark gray clouds that never seem to drift away. There's despair in the morning that could tie us to the bed, but the story isn't over yet. There's a white flag raised, saying we can't bear anymore. There are silent nights, because nothing's like it was. And our dreams retell the sadness, so we cannot forget. But the story isn't over yet. I took a picture of the Grand Canyon so I could remember that day. There are cards and letters, all letting their love be heard. Sympathetic smiles from those that are lost for words. In our wake there are whispers that tell of where we've been, but the story isn't over yet. I took a picture of the Grand Canyon so I could remember that day. Oh, but the beauty of the Grand Canyon stretches way beyond the frame. Oh, I can't sleep. There's too much weighing on my mind. But there's a bird out there, still singing in the dead of night, like it knows there's a season when the sun's gonna set. But the story isn't over yet. The story isn't over.
Liza, will you come up and join us, sweetie? Share share just a couple more songs. This is one that we sing to Eliza every night. Just stand up here. We've been singing it to her since she was 1 month along in the womb. And it's a simple little song about trusting God, because we want Eliza to trust God. We want her to believe that he is a good father that has good things in store for his children. And we want to believe it too. And so we're going to have it up on the screen. There it is, okay. And we would love to have you guys join us. We're going to sing it through twice. And just encourage you that God is faithful and good. He knows us. He loves us. He is good and kind. And we can rest in that.
Trust thou in God. Do not be afraid. He who holds the worlds knows each of us by name. So lay your troubles down. Don't be of anxious mind. Your Father knows all that you need, and He is good and kind.
Join us.
Trust thou in God. Do not be afraid. He who holds the worlds knows each of us by name. So lay your troubles down. Don't be of anxious mind. Your Father knows all that you need, and He is good and kind.
Thank you, guys. Just going to close with one last song here. Thank you again for the opportunity to be here, sharing this time with you guys. Look forward to connecting with you afterwards. This song is a song about what it's going to be like to wake up for the first time, the first morning, in a world made new, where there is no sin, and there is no suffering, and there is no pain or death anymore. Do you guys ever think about that? We need to think about it more often. We need to let our minds wander more on the good things that God has in store for us. I think it's really important. But there's going to be a day when you wake up, when you open your eyes, and the sounds around you are peaceful and beautiful, and there will not be a burden on your heart. Nothing. That thing that you've struggled with your whole life, gone. It doesn't haunt you. It won't haunt you ever again. That sorrow that you carried, the shame, the sadness, banished. The heart that suffered, the body that was in pain, delivered, made new. Isn't that a beautiful thought? A world where we will never say the word cancer ever again. A world where we are fully known and fully loved. A world where we will never attend another funeral ever again. And we will hold our loved ones and receive our little babies. That is where we're going. That is more true than this. And someday all the sad things are going to become undone. And the shadowland is going to vanish away into a land of endless light and goodness. And the face of Jesus we will see, and we will look on our God with nothing between. I'm going to read a couple verses here from Revelation 21. And I heard a loud voice from heaven saying, "Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people. And God himself will be with them and be their God. And God will wipe away every tear from their eyes. There shall be no more death, nor sorrow, nor crying. There shall be no more pain, for the former things have passed away." Close your eyes and let him paint some pictures of the beauty and the goodness that is to come. Imagine waking up in the morning, not a care on your heart, there's not a care in the world. The sun's streaming in, the birds are singing, all's well in the world. No, you're not dreaming, you step outside into radiant light, into beautiful colors that shimmer with life. You belong, love has drawn you here. Home at last. Sorrows past, they're an old thing. Gone are those years. Gone the tears, they are banished. Love has brought you home, home at last. The cool of the river sends a shiver of life up through you. You're glad you're alive. The fruit in your hand is fragrant and lovely. Air in your lungs, sweet as honey. The lion at your side is gentle and friendly. You lean on his neck, so happy you're giddy. You belong, love has drawn you here. Home at last. Sorrows past, they're an old thing. Gone are those years. Gone the tears, they are banished. Love has brought you home, home at last. You hear him walking out in the meadow. Your heart flutters as he calls your name. You bound through the flowers, look up in his eyes. There's no sense of shame, 'cause there's nothing to hide. You can't help laughing, and neither can he. It rolls out of his chest like an anthem of peace. You belong, love has drawn you here. Home at last. Sorrows past, they're an old thing. Gone are those years. Gone the tears, they are banished. Love has brought you home, home at last. At his voice, his children come from every nation, tribe, and tongue, with songs of praise. One voice we raise. Love has brought us home. No more drawing lines, no more taking sides, no more racial divide. love has brought us home.